Walmart.
A new tripod you got at Walmart. How much does that cost?
$35.
Oh my God! Come on, seriously?
Yeah,
That's outrageous.
Outrageous. It's actually pretty nice because it's got a like right up here, like right here. It's got a
a level. It's a level.
A target level right here.
Yeah.
For just the legs.
Nobody can see it. It's audio.
I know, but then it also has
it's hit the button already. Okay.
But then on the top where you mount your camera, it has a horizontal level so you can level your shot.
Oh, okay.
So it's actually, and it's Walmart's ONN brand, so it's their own house brand, and it comes with a GoPro mount and a cell phone mount.
And what was wrong with the tripod you had?
Well, when my son was 12, my oldest son was 12, I had the great idea that I'm going to go and throw some batting practice to him at the Little League field. And so I set up the camera so we could work on his mechanics. And he line drived it right into the leg of the camera and bent that all to heck. And then the screw that holds the plate in place where you would mount your camera, that actually broke. And so I only had it for 20 years. So it was.
What did you use to take video with when you were chasing the big boy? Quit breathing, George.
I was using. I used that tripod.
Oh, it was still usable?
Oh yeah, it was still usable until that thing broke on the top. But
oh, gee,
that'll happen.
George, you're gonna have to stop breathing, or move your microphone 1/64 of an inch away from your, or close your mouth. One or the other.
I did that.
You closed your mouth? Attaboy.
No, I sighed, and it got louder. Sorry.
Oh, what was that? That was a
just I'm just sitting here seething with fury at my everyday situation. What else is new?
Or what's wrong with your everyday situation now?
Nothing. It's just the stressors of life.
The stressors of life. You got horseshoes up your butt.
Okay.
You are like my hero.
Really?
Well, yeah. Like I worked there at CN for 4 or 5 years. Man, I would have never got in and out of Hornepayne in a month. You are like a month, and you even had warm weather for Hornepayne.
Yeah, it's true. I guess I did.
Did you pay for that?
Did I pay for? Oh,
yeah, I did.
Yeah, I paid the weatherman for some warm weather. Yeah.
No, I mean your haircut.
No.
Did you get a receipt?
No. My lovely wife did it for me.
Oh, okay.
Of who we will speak no ill, thank you very much.
Oh, we're not going to speak ill of your wife.
No,
we
don't do that here on the ML.
Absolutely. Why would we do that?
Exactly.
We'll do it later.
I'm sure she did her.
Hey.
I'm sure she did her best.
Well, I was a difficult customer, so
you got a knobby head, probably.
Oh, it's highly irregular. I am highly irregular as a general rule.
I'm going for a haircut on Tuesday, as a matter of fact.
There you go.
I gotta get my lovely. I got so much hair. Tony Cook wouldn't.
She keeps saying my hairline's receding, but I don't believe her.
Tony Cook doesn't know anything about having all this hair, but then I see Spoon's gone with the curly look from the Three Stooges.
What? I told Joy today like 5 or 6 times I need to shower and shave. I'm getting hairy. I need to shower and shave. I should probably make an appointment for a haircut. Yeah.
How much do you pay for a haircut, Mike, in your town?
The place that I go is just went up. I think it's $13.
Oh, okay.
But I get a number 2. I get like a buzz cut all the way around. A number 2 all the way around.
A number 2.
A number 2. Yep, a number 2 shield all the way around. That's what I do.
Always got your looks in the forefront.
Yep. Well, I have to. I have an image to uphold.
You know what? You're not much. What's your favorite hat to wear?
Ooh, like
your thing you put on your head.
Yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Right now, my favorite one is because I have so many. Like literally, I just got rid of probably about 70 hats. but right now my favorite one is my Wisconsin meat smoking hobbyist camo hat. I wear that one everywhere. That's my church hat right now. So.
Well, what I hate is when you get a hat that fits really well and you go to put on a different hat, but like that one, the one you've been wearing all the time, it fits so good. You just keep grabbing the same hat. That's my AML Nation camo hat. I end up grabbing that one so often because it just fits perfect.
But then something happens to it, the one I have for work. I had to basically decide whether I was going to change the oil in it or start wearing a different one. And I decided it'd probably be best just to start wearing a different one. I had a New York and Atlantic Railway hat that I had that I won at a show one time, and I've been wearing that for work for a couple of years now. Where'd you get that hat? They'd say at work. Well,
what's your favorite hat there, Teaspoon?
Right now, it's my wife bought me a Cabela's hat for my birthday.
Okay.
And I quite like that one, but it's the same thing. I grab it all the time, right? So it's starting to get worn out already. So I'm going to be in need of a new hat here pretty soon, or a couple of new hats. I need an AML hat for sure.
Yeah, I should send you an AML hat, or you should buy one or something.
You can give me one over lunch.
Sure. I'll give you one over lunch.
Speaking of which, I lost our bet, so I'll just buy you lunch. How's that sound?
Yeah, how about that?
That seems fair to me.
Yeah, because right now, you and I are probably no more than an hour's drive apart.
This is correct.
Yeah, so we got to do lunch several times over the next while. Do you know when's your birthday?
The 1st of August.
Oh, okay. When's yours, Spoon?
March 18th.
Oh, it's coming up.
Yep.
You're going to be 57.
No. I'll be 51.
Just a baby. Now, don't you hate that when you're 51 and people go, "Oh, you're just a baby," and it's like, well, no, I just already did 51 years, so I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
What do you?
No, try again.
How old are you going to be, George? 29?
Yes, sir.
And you got horseshoes up your butt.
Really?
So this is which number is this, George? I think I know which edition of George's Journal this is. Do you?
I believe this is number 6.
So close.
5?
There you go.
There we go.
George's Journal, number 5. And when we did George's Journal last time, we did it with Spoon too.
That's correct.
Yeah, and I have so much. We probably won't be listening to this until like May, but that cut for a couple.
May what?
May of 2026.
Oh. Well. Everybody has to have a goal.
Exactly. That's what it is. Our goal.
No matter how lofty.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. So when we last left our hero, Spoon, do you remember he was back in Sudbury, Ontario. He had spent his month in Hornepayne. Decided it wasn't quite as wonderful as he had originally thought.
He had made friends and consequently made mad the mayor of Hornepayne all at the same time.
Yeah, and he discovered there were at least 3 places to eat, but he just also discovered that finding a place to live for him and his wife and his son was a no-go.
Yep.
So then, who were you talking to, George? Who did you talk to?
With regards to what? My
getting transferred out of Hornepayne.
My superintendent.
So for a superintendent for what? Like the district or the region or
the region? Yeah.
And what is was it the northern region or is it what's the region that you're in?
So it's actually that's not true. It used to be called region. Now it's called the North Ontario District.
Okay.
But it used to be the North Ontario region or zone or whatever you want to call it. I guess it's gone by several different names. But right now it is the North Ontario District. Okay. So I spoke to this, and so he is essentially my boss's boss's boss because he is in charge of our entire district. But he was the guy to go to see to get this to make it happen expediently.
So before we go any farther, we'll do some introductions. First off, we've got our buddy Mike the Spoon Ostertag, all the way from Green Bay, Wisconsin. home of the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field, and not a world champion Aaron Rodgers quarterback.
Whatever.
Hey,
Correct.
You still owe me $20.
Oh.
Do I?
Yeah, you lost when Tampa Bay beat them in the NFC final. You lost that one.
I paid you that one.
Yeah, then there was the Super Bowl where they lost again.
Oh yeah, that's right. I got to pay you $20. Yeah.
And there it is.
And there we are.
Yeah, I've got no problems paying my debt.
You absolutely
remember. It's just remembering that I have to pay the debt.
All you got to all
you do.
All I have to do is give you a friendly little reminder, and boom, you're right there. Absolutely, I never had any problems with you. That's why we have fun doing our wagers, because we pay back and forth. Lately, it's mostly been fourth, but
Fourth? Yeah, like a little back once in a while, if you don't mind.
And we have George, the Boy Wonder, a.k.a. Four Banger, a.k.a. the Teaspoon.
Hey.
And now, who is formerly of Ottawa, Ontario, formerly of Hornepayne, Ontario, formerly of Sudbury, Ontario, and now lives in Brampton, Ontario, which is a suburb very close to the metropolitan area of Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Correct.
How long does it take you to drive to Macmillan Yard from there?
On a good day, 15 minutes.
Perfect.
Which is just ideal.
So here's my theory, Spoon. I need your help on this one.
Okay.
I think that he was able to get this transfer so quickly because he was probably a good student, and the guy was getting good reports about him, or because because he was the guy that got him the transfer was in the Northern District. He just wanted to get him out of his district as quickly as possible.
I actually think it might be some kind of combination of the both.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind that he was a good student. I mean, he's looks notwithstanding, he's reasonably intelligent. But it's boy, I can see George asking a lot of questions and just go away, kid, you're bothering me kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I love the guy to death. Love him to death. Boy, I don't know, man.
Pestering is a good maneuver because pestering can eventually work.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah, I always tell my son that. Both of my boys that. I always say, when you put in for a job application, bother them until they give it to you just to shut you up.
Yeah, just to have you go away.
Yeah.
So George, so when you seriously though, you couldn't find a place to live in Hornepayne or Hearst or any town within.
No, not suitable for a family anyway. I found lots of rooms and apartments, but nothing bigger than like a really tiny 2-bedroom. With toddler is not ideal.
So did you basically say to the guy, either I got to get a transfer, or I just can't stick with it because I got to look after my wife and kid? Is that kind of what happened?
Oh, pretty much, yeah. You got to kind of lay it on the line to get any kind of movement.
Yeah. But
so I had to be pretty directed. Like, granted, I told him, like, look, I know, like, I took this position willingly. Nobody forced me to go to Hornepayne. I applied, but the reality is I can't find a place for us to live.
Right.
That's where I'm at. And I said I really don't want to sacrifice my career, and I don't want to sacrifice my time with my family. But right now, those are my only two options, and the only other thing I can justify doing is transferring.
Right.
So.
And how long did it take him? A couple of days to decide?
I want to say he decided really quickly, but it took a couple of weeks to actually make it happen. There was a lot of logistics involved, and as it was, I actually had to call HR and get them to do it myself.
Oh, okay.
But it was done.
All right. So you're getting to know everybody in the front office.
Yeah, not really sure I want to, but
yeah, maybe keep your head down for a while. Yeah, they don't want to hear from you anymore. But you did your Hornepayne. You did I think you said you did 16 runs or something like that. Or how many trips did you do when you were in Hornepayne?
16 trips. That's right.
And then you ended up in Sudbury for another 3 weeks to do more classroom.
Yep.
And then you passed the final test with 98%.
Correct.
And then did you get to go home again for a week or so, or?
Yeah, I was at home for about a week.
Okay.
And I kind of just shut everything out. for a bit. I said I just want to spend some time with family. So
Right.
I just kind of told everybody, just leave me alone for a few days.
And there was one night when you were drinking a lot of champagne.
Correct, which was great. I don't regret that. Don't regret that at all.
No, that's good.
Not at all.
Here's a tip for you. Don't ever call up the evil overlord, send him a text and say, hey, yeah, I'll be with you in a half an hour as soon as I finish drinking champagne.
Yeah, that kind of went. That night went off the rails a little bit.
Wait a minute. Was that the day that you said false alarm?
Yes, that was the false alarm day.
Okay.
I was getting into the champagne. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and then
I'm not sorry, but continue.
Yeah, and then I get a text about 5 minutes before we're supposed to start. He goes, "Oh, I'm still drinking champagne. I'll be there in a half an hour." And I'm thinking, "No, you won't." And then the next couple of days later, he sends me texts. Is there something wrong? Are we okay? And I'm like, yeah. It's just I'm an old guy, and old guys don't take much direction from young guys. It just doesn't work that way.
Fair enough.
As you are fully aware, Spoon, being well past middle age.
I beg your pardon.
I was going to say, I think he's calling you old.
But no, I just said he's well past middle age.
Well, yeah, I guess I am.
How many 102-year-olds do you know?
Well, my grandma lived to be 99.
Well, that's good. So, all right, maybe you're not well past. That would be great.
I'm teetering. I'm over the peak.
Yeah,
I'm over the peak. I'm
crested the hill.
How about this? This is you're just starting the second half of your life.
The good half.
And you the second half of the game, and you played a little shabbily in the first half, so you might want to tighten that up.
They haven't quite called
a little bit.
Yeah,
they haven't quite called in the emergency goalie yet. But he is starting to get dressed.
He's getting there.
I heard who did I hear do that one? Oh,
I love those stories and stuff like that about on YouTube when you see those things, or on the news when you hear about these guys that are like the Zamboni driver. That's the emergency goalie. He gets in there and he makes like 22 saves and gets a win. And I like those stories. They're kind of make you feel good.
Well, that's a great thing about sport. It's a great thing about sports. It's one of the few things in society that is still pure in that it is what it is. The outcome is nobody can predict it. They can try to predict the outcome, but nobody could have predicted what Tom Brady did. You just don't know. That's the great thing about sports. That's why it's so popular. It's just
7th round draft pick ends up being in 10 Super Bowls, winning 7 of them. You know, who'd have thought the guy, probably wasn't even supposed to make the cut.
Maybe that's why this podcast is popular, because it's like a sport. It's like nobody has any idea what the outcome's going to be.
It's always a mystery.
Yeah. Okay, so now you spent a week at home, and then you rented a room somewhere.
Correct.
You rented a room in Hamilton, Ontario, and that turned out to be a bit of a chaotic.
Yeah, I'm here right now.
Oh, you're still in Hamilton?
Yes.
I thought you were moving to Brampton.
I am this week.
Oh, okay, but it's kind of a dive where you are now.
Just a tad.
And where did you find the room? How are you finding these rooms?
The one in Brampton I found on Kijiji, which is kind of like our Craigslist for, anybody who's not a Canadian.
Right.
But they have a lot more, real estate and rental listings than, most other classified sites do. Like, they're pretty widely used. But the one that I'm in now, I found on Airbnb.
Okay. And then it turned out to be a dump.
Yeah, correct.
And so you went on Kijiji, and pretty quickly, it seemed like pretty quickly you found. And then what is it, available like March 1st or something?
It's available immediately. I'm going this week.
Okay, what?
Which is like the last week of February here.
All right, so now I'm getting confused because you got this room in Brampton like a week ago. It was available immediately, and you're still in Hamilton.
Well, it's because I was working. I didn't have time to get everything together before I had to go.
Oh, okay.
So now that I'm back, and I was visiting family over the weekend.
Oh,
I can get things together, and I can get things over there.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
And so how much does a room in Brampton cost?
$600
a month.
Yes.
And did you see it first? Like, have you checked it out, or?
Yes, I've been there already.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, and it's everything it's cracked up to be.
Perfect.
It's quite nice. It really is a nice place.
Good. So then you're going to have a good, solid foundation to work from.
Very much so.
Perfect. How do you think this is going so far, Spoon?
Swimmingly.
So, all right. So now you've spent the last week working in McMillan Yard, and let's describe to people what McMillan Yard is.
McMillan Yard is CN's. I want to say it's one of the biggest classification yards in North America. It's definitely CN's biggest yard in Eastern Canada. But it is the point which all trains from either the States or Eastern Canada converge before going across to the west. We get all the traffic from Wisconsin, Minnesota, everything down along the Illinois Central to New Orleans, Montreal, Halifax from the ports. Everything arrives in Toronto and then is dispersed wherever it's going after that.
Right. And so what are you doing there?
I am a conductor. But because I'm no longer on the road, per se, I'm now working in the yard. But that also involves I do road trains too, but just not nearly as many. But I'm doing yard work. I'm doing road switchers. I'm doing a couple of locals. And then we have one or two road trains that get protected by the same board that I cover, the same spare board.
So do you think you two guys can explain how the spare board would work in McMillan Yard? Because I would imagine it's incredibly busy.
It moves very fast. At any one time, so I guess the easiest way to explain it is the yard is divided into like quadrants, and there's a crew operating each quadrant all the time, and then there's one extra guy who's running the hump because McMillan Yard is one of the only two active hump yards in Canada. CP closed their hump yard in Toronto, which was the last one on their network, as far as I'm aware. And the only other hump yard that's active on CN's network is Symington Yard in Winnipeg.
Oh, okay.
Winterpeg.
Winterpeg, yeah. Hump yards are cool. The CP hump yard, the Canadian Pacific hump yard in Toronto, was very cool. Many, many years ago, decades ago, my uncle used to take me there. He had a bread truck, and I would ride with him. And then my uncle would take me to the CP hump yard, and we would watch. I mean, that was active, and then we would watch trains going over the hump yard, which is very cool.
The hump yard in Toronto is very active as well. Actually, it's a dual hump. So we have the first hump, which is separating all the eastbound, westbound, and local cars. And then there's two local tracks from that hump yard that get pushed through to a second hump, which is the local hump, which separates all the cars into the local tracks, so they can assemble all the road switchers for the area.
I bet you there's a lot of road switchers working at a Mac yard.
I have a list somewhere. I don't have it on me right now, but I think there's at least 12 or 15.
I'll bet. So what jobs have you had in the past week?
I've been working the hump. I've been taking the cuts of cars that come in on trains, and I've been pulling them through the pullback in the north end of the yard and putting them over the hump.
You're working the conductor spot on that train.
Well, kind of.
Oh, kind of.
The hump job is a one-person operation.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
It's the only job in the yard that is.
So you're working.
I am running the locomotives using a belt pack, and I am pulling the strings out of the receiving yard, pulling them through the pullback, and then pushing them over the hump all by myself. So what I do is I get in the cab, I drive the locomotives down to the strings, pull them to the pullback, and then I get off at the hump, and I stand there and I put the locomotives on a slow hump speed on the control box because it's all remote. And then as the cars go by, I pull the pins. There's a big board next to the hump that tells me where to pull the pin.
I know what you need to put in the middle and edit this with.
What?
Quiet you.
A little digital underground, I do believe. A little bit of the Humpty Dance.
Yes.
Does this not sound like you're just about the cool? Okay, so let's recap.
This is what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I know. I hear what you're saying. You're here, aren't you? We're here, aren't you? Don't push me, kid.
Wow, Jesus.
Wow.
Oh, come on. That wasn't too bad.
No, I've heard you by far worse.
Yeah, exactly. But let's recap here. In October, we were driving around. You were filling yourself up with breakfast, and you couldn't pass your doctor's test because your blood pressure was too high because you were loading up on bacon and eggs.
Correct.
To now, what are we looking at? 4 months here? Probably roughly 4 months later, you were remotely operating trains and running them over a hump yard. I mean, this is a little bit fanciful, isn't it? Is it not, Spoon?
Well, maybe not for the CN. Any port in a storm, I guess.
Wow.
It's, if he's the one that's ordered to do the job and he's fully qualified to do it, then he just goes and does the job. Gone are the days though where they hold your hand for like a year and a half before they say, well, you can go and try doing this on your own. Now it's, well, okay, here's this, you pass these tests. Well, you obviously have a clue as to what to do. Now go do it. And that's kind of the way it works. He knows how to do something I don't know how to do.
That's exactly what I'm saying. Look at where we are 4 months later. If I had said to you 4 months ago, I bet you'll be operating locomotives from a belt pack and pushing them over a hump yard, you'd be going, no, that's not. I mean, both of us are speechless here. And by the way, George, just so we're clear, I would never refer to you as any port in the storm.
Fair enough.
First off, no matter how bad the storm was, I'd move on to the next port.
Yeah.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
Hump operations is that's kind of a dying art form.
Well, exactly. It's a dying art form. Like
it's kind of cool that you're doing that. I mean, it's
beyond cool.
Yeah, it's very cool because now you're going to be able to say, well, yeah, I used to be the, back in 2021. Well, wait a minute. It would be more like
back in 21.
Back in 2021. I used to have a belt pack. It's before these cockamamie little
phones,
floaty thingies that they run trains with. No, we did everything with our feet.
So you must have had somebody show you how to do it the first day?
Oh, of course, yeah. That's what last week was. Last week was essentially all orientation.
So how many times were you with somebody doing it before you got to do it by yourself?
2 days.
What sort of locomotives are they using?
So it's kind of funny, actually, because on a previous podcast, which is now on the air, we talked about the heritage units that CN's doing. And I think I referred at one point to a set they've done, now it's complete, it is a GB40-2, paired with a slug that are painted up in the traditional green and gold.
Really? You're operating those in the yard?
Yep, they're set up for belt pack, and they're on the hump job this week, or last week, or whatever. I don't know if they'll probably move. I'm sure they won't be on the hump all the time. I've heard rumors that I'm getting some SD40-2s this week, which would be kind of neat. But I had them last week on the hump.
Yeah, somebody get some good. I got this heritage unit.
I know.
I get to go and do this right away. Whatever. Okay.
I found that it's number 7600.
That's right.
Wow.
Yeah, that one came through Wisconsin. It went through Neenah down to Homewood for something, and then it was down in. I want to say it made its way down to Memphis at one point, and then it went back up to Canada for. I don't know if they were doing electrical testing on it or just what they were doing with it, but it made its way through the United States and came back up. So, but it was always trailing on a train. It was never used by any yard locals. It was just going from shop to shop to shop.
I imagine they were probably getting it set up to run with a belt pack.
Well, I would imagine, like, I remember, like, on the Wisconsin Central, like, the mechanical stuff was always done in Fond du Lac. And then when they were retrofitting things, they would send it to Stevens Point because Stevens Point was the electrical place. So whenever they do, like, put their computer traction control stuff and everything, that was all done in Stevens Point. But anything to do with the mechanical part of it, that stuff was all done in Fond du Lac. It was kind of like both places had their own specialty. And I suppose the CN might have stuff set up like that.
I bet you.
I don't know. I figured they would have done it all in Homewood, but I don't know.
I bet you when Spoon saw pictures of it, he'd go, "Oh man, I wish they'd send that over to."
I did.
And little did he know that Teaspoon would soon be. Well, now I think Teaspoon's got a stick because now you would have loved to have run 7600, and now there's Teaspoon standing there with his little remote control.
I even told my train master, I said, hey, I know for a fact that this train's coming down the line. It's going to go through Neenah. Have it set out and sent to Manitowoc. Well, what one's that? The 7600. What the hell's the 7600? I said, just do it. and he starts laughing. He goes, oh, I'll get right on top of that. Next thing you know, it's down in Homewood. And I'm sitting there going, so the next day I said, hey, thanks a lot for getting that 7600 set out for me. Not a problem.
Man, they paint up these beautiful heritage units and then they just stick them on the hump yard. That's
well, I think
goofy.
that one's designed for a slug, though, right?
Yeah, it has a matching slug.
And then the slug's painted too, right?
Yeah.
What's the slug's number?
I don't know. I didn't catch it, actually.
Okay. Man, that must have been... How cool was that when you saw you were going to be operating? So, so you jump up on 7600, GP40-2, painted in heritage. You must have been just about peeing your pants.
Oh, well, I mean, not so dramatically, but I was definitely excited.
Well, you must have been. I mean, I understand you're not. I have found another guy that's a prototype railroader, full-time railroader. That's a model railroader. It's like a friggin'. You guys got to find each other because I'm telling you, there's all kinds of you guys out there. This is very, very cool that you started out on the podcast as a FedEx delivery guy. And now you're operating locomotives that Spoon would have liked to have had a chance to operate it with with a remote control of the hump yard. I know that hump, man. I've been there. I've been on that hump.
I know you have. You've told me as much.
I know. We're probably walking the same ground. So, how many days did you get to do it by yourself?
Just Friday.
Okay. And do you think that's what you'll be doing tomorrow?
I haven't looked at the schedule yet, but I imagine so. Oh, I found a picture. Hang on. I'll share my screen. This was taken on Saturday. So there you go. You can see an up-to-date picture on how things are going. I'll share my screen here.
Well, now I'm looking at Spoon. That's unnerving.
It is. It is.
What shirt are you wearing?
Green Man Western shirt.
Oh, did you get a box from me yet, or a bag, or any packages from me yet, Spoon? Oh, I sent you one. I sent you a really cool package. I sure hope you get it.
I do too. It probably got pirated from some.
Yeah. No. Yeah. Well, it does have
irate former FedEx guy.
Yeah. Yeah. What's all that white stuff?
I don't know. There you go. There's the matching slug.
So how many cars will you pull out at a time to shove over the hump?
It depends. The pullback's pretty long. But I think last week I was doing. Oh, sorry, Mike's looking at me like I'm nuts. Did you not see it?
Well, he was giving it the mic once over.
Hang on. I'll bring it back. I'll bring it back. There you go.
I can't believe anybody's paying to listen to this. Hopefully they're not. Hopefully they're not.
Well, if you put it on Patreon, it's up to you, really.
It's up to him. Yeah, I don't know yet. We'll have to wait and see where it ends up. So he's Spoon's looking at it now. His eyeballs are bulging out of his head.
Are you sure that's a GP40-2?
It's a -3, actually. I just looked. But
yeah, because it's got a completely funky radiator set up to it. And not only that, but it's got a paper air filter. It's not turbocharged. It looks like it's got a 4-panel radiator to it for whatever reason. It looks almost like an SD7 or SD9 type radiator. That's
I can't believe they have the heritage units in the yard.
Oh, I do. Maybe they're thinking of coming. Maybe they're thinking of going to this for their full-time corporate scheme. I mean, railroads have done that in the past.
I find that hard to buy. I think CN will be sticking with the. What do you guys call it? The noodle or something?
I don't know. They've had that for a long time, and sometimes corporate images want to change images, and a lot of times they go retro, But I mean, well, look at Kansas City Southern. Kansas City Southern did the the Southern Belle? They went to the Southern Belle paint scheme. That was their passenger scheme from back in the 40s and 50s. That was their passenger car scheme. They made that their new modern. That's their full-time scheme now.
Florida East Coast has got a great paint scheme too.
They do.
Their paint scheme is really, really cool. Their paint scheme is very, very cool.
I used to have a house in Florida that I could go to, and they were not far from my house. I could see every day the Florida East Coast ran down this track, and I'd drive over there on my bike, but I can't go anymore because they won't let me in. Maybe by now though they will. Spoon's doing some visuals.
I'll be right back. Carry on.
He's going to do something cool. I can tell.
I'm gonna go get some hot chocolate that my wife made.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I see.
Which is cool because my wife made me something nice to drink.
Did she text you or something?
Yeah, she says it's ready.
Okay, we'll go get it. Me and the teaspoon will talk.
Talk amongst yourself.
We will.
Oh, we will for sure.
So, how many cars do they drag? How many cars will you drag out of the yard at a time?
It varies. I mean, the thing is, the yard tracks are only. I think the longest one we have in the yard is something like maybe 7,000 feet long. So the trains are always too long for the yard tracks, so they always have to split them up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it could be anywhere between 30 to 50 cars typically at a time. The pullback on the north end of the yard to like kind of clear all the switches and stuff like it's just a pullback track. It doesn't go anywhere. It's quite long, so it gives you a lot of room.
It's really long, and it curves off to the west, does it not?
That's right.
Yeah, and the curve is. I think it goes over the 407. No, it's north of the 407, but it goes up. It goes up.
Yeah,
it goes up and it curves towards Highway 400.
That's correct. Yeah,
but I don't think it goes as far as Highway 400.
No, I think it stops at. Well, I mean, you know this, but for anyone that's interested in looking, there's a road called. I think it's not Langstaff. What is it?
Jane Street, Langstaff,
it goes up and it curves, but then it stops when it hits a road.
Yeah, and it's really hard to get anywhere near.
It doesn't go past the road.
It's really hard to get anywhere near the pullback track. Like it's not like you can see it from anywhere too well.
Well, you can see it from the very, very end.
Yeah,
but rarely. I mean, like I didn't go that far back. I didn't have to.
No.
So I mean, you could stand there for hours and you may not see anything.
I should go stand there at the end and just say, I wonder if a train's going to come back here.
You'll just see me and go, oh, no.
Yeah. So what else did you do in your first week at Mac Yard?
We toured the yard, went over all the different controls, all the different towers.
Is there a bunch of guys that are being trained at the same time? Or are you kind of on your own? Or how's that going?
No, I'm actually with the rest of my class.
Really?
I'm with because a lot of the guys that I trained with in Sudbury were for Toronto South, so I'm actually with them.
So what did they say when they saw you show up?
Well, they were pretty happy.
I'm sure they were, but were they kind of surprised?
A little bit. I think a lot of them. I think they didn't figure I'd actually get the transfer.
Yeah,
I made it happen.
Well, I know you did. Well, I don't think anybody thought you would make it happen. I thought, yeah, good luck with that, buddy. So Macmillan Yard is in just on the outskirts of Toronto, Ontario, Canada. It was originally opened in 1965. Lionel arrived there in 1973. So it was only open 8 years when I got there. And then it was named after CN President. In 1975 was named after CN President John Macmillan.
Correct.
So when I got there, it was Concord Yard is what it was when I was there. That's what it was.
That's right.
And it's, let's see. The yard measures approximately 3 kilometers, or what's that, about 2 miles in length, and it's about just over a half a mile wide in width.
Yep, give or take.
And it runs north and south.
Yep.
And really, that's all the longer it is?
Yeah. It's 3 kilometers, which is 5 kilometers is 3 miles, so 2.5 kilometers, 2.5 kilometers is a mile and a half, so it's about 2 miles long.
Wow. I would have thought that it was longer than that.
And that one, well, it's kind of jammed into when they built it, it was out in nowhere.
It's surrounded now.
Oh, yeah. It's absolutely surrounded. It was surrounded in the early 70s when I was going there. It was pretty well built up around it. But it's a very heavy urban area now.
Because Green Bay yard is, how long is Green Bay? Green Bay is 3.5 miles.
Is it really?
2.5 miles, something like. Well, it's much. The whole working 520 limits is nearly 8 miles long, but the yard itself is, geez, what is that? 3. I'll bet. Oh, it's 2.5 miles, 2.5 miles long.
Well, while you were upstairs getting your hot chocolate, while you went,
which is delicious, by the way. I wish you guys. I wish Joy could have made you each a cup, but I'll drink yours for you.
Oh, thanks very much.
Oh, thanks, appreciate that.
Yeah,
you bet. I'm that kind of guy.
I know.
I'm nice like that.
Yeah, exactly. Always thinking of others.
Yep.
While you were upstairs, George was saying like the longest track in the yard is only 7,000 feet. So I mean, some trains would have to be put on 3 different tracks, wouldn't they? Man.
Well, 7,000 feet is.
Yeah, I guess.
2, I guess. Two, maybe.
Always 2 tracks, yeah.
For sure, 2. I mean, like Green Bay, the longest track in Green Bay is 120 cars long.
George,
something like that.
George, I know that I'm always beating on you like a rented mule.
Mm-hmm.
Or a redheaded stepchild.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that better.
But this is pretty cool. I mean, this is pretty cool. It's since October. When was it we went to see Lex? Do you remember the day?
That was September. I want to say it was the 27th.
Yeah. So say since
it was that week.
Yeah. So October, November, December, January, 4.5 months later, neither one of us could have even possibly imagined that you'd be operating remote control units in the hump yard. You must be standing there kind of pinching yourself, aren't you?
A little bit, yeah. It kind of drove itself home a lot when I got here.
Yeah.
I bet you that doesn't happen real often though, because you first and foremost, you have your job to do. You don't have a whole lot of time to sit and gawk.
No, I mean when I'm at work, I'm all business. But I mean, I tell you what though, it's a lot more fun, working around the small locomotives that I and actually getting to operate them. The ones that I grew up with and I'm more familiar with. The road stuff, I mean, it's you just get on and go. There's not a lot of interaction, But
I told
with the stuff in the yard, it's a lot more fun.
I told you, didn't I? I said you're gonna have more fun doing that, But I'm gonna go to Hornepayne and I'm gonna sit on trains. And
I like dollars too.
Yeah, and I'm gonna live in Hearst.
Yeah, I'm gonna live in Hearst.
And I'm actually gonna drive back and forth. It's all.
I like money.
Yeah.
And I got. Don't worry about the 4-cylinder Cadillac. It'll be just fine.
Well, yeah, exactly.
Well, I mean, I made it back.
Put a 20-inch lift kit on it and maybe 4-wheel drive, and it'll be fine.
I don't think so.
Yeah,
maybe I can call it a pickup truck. I mean,
not only did he not have to stay in Hornepayne, he was there for 4 weeks of relatively mild weather. Because I was looking at the temperature every day, and it never really got to the true Hornepayne temperatures.
Did it even snow there?
Oh yeah, it snowed quite a bit, but I got out pretty easy.
So can you two guys together try to explain to the folks out there in AML land and try to explain it to me, which is so you're gonna have to get it down there. But how would the spare board work?
You want me to take this one?
Yeah, go for it.
All right. Basically, what you have is you have a set number of jobs that are regular assignments. Okay, so like my job, my Manitowoc job, I go to work. It's every day, Monday through Friday, 7 in the morning, Saturday, Sunday off. Tomorrow, my conductor is on a personal day, so I'll be working with somebody off down here. We call it the extra board. So I'll be working with somebody off the extra board, and the way the extra board works is anybody in the terminal, they figure out all the jobs, and then they man those jobs. And then what they do is they figure, okay, we have X number of potential openings or this and this and this going on. We need 4 extra engineers and 4 extra conductors just to be there to cover guys taking days off and vacations and things of that nature. Or if somebody if they want to run an extra train, they can call an extra board. They'll call the train crew off the extra board, an engineer and a conductor off the extra board. So the way the extra board works is it's on a first in, at least down here, it's on a first in, first out basis. So each position on an extra board has its own assigned set of rest days. So you might have, like Monday, Tuesday. There might be one guy on Friday, Saturday, one guy on Saturday, Sunday, one guy on Sunday, Monday, stuff like that. So you go and the guy on like tomorrow, whoever is first out at what time would he get called for? He would be called at 4:10 in the morning, because we have from Green Bay to Manitowoc, we get 50 minutes of deadhead. So the extra board will get called at 6 to be to work for 6:10 to be in Manitowoc for 7 o'clock. And it'll be the first available guy that's on the list. And, the first rested guy that's on the list. He'll come, and then he'll come down and he'll work the job. And then when he's done working the job, he will go back to the bottom of the list. Once he's done, whatever list is, however many guys are left on the board, he will go back to the bottom man on that, and he will eventually work his way back up to being the first out guy. Now, sometimes when you tie up on a job, you are the only guy on the board, so you're tying up first out, and you're going to go back to work in 10 hours. Or 12 hours, I should say.
So how many guys, George, are on this? Do you think will be on this extra board?
Was that a good enough explanation, Lionel, or did it?
Yeah. No, it's a good start. It's a good start because I think I over the time listening to you talk about it, I think I basically understand it. But I'm kind of wondering how many guys, like, this is going to be your permanent home, right, McMillan Yard?
For the foreseeable future, yeah.
Yeah, for like even after you're finished on training, you're under the impression this is where you're going to be working at it.
Correct.
Yeah. And so have you had a chance to kind of scope out how many guys might be on this extra board?
Yeah, I think there's about 35 right now.
Okay. And how many?
With that many trains going through, you could be 35 times out, which means you're the 35th guy on that list and go to work in that next day. The board can turn, and that's what we call it down here. The board turns that fast to where you could be 35 times out and work that next day. It's yeah. I've heard stories of like on the UP. There's like some of the UP boards have hundreds of guys on their extra boards, and it turns every 24 hours.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is too that where we are, I'm actually covering 3 different terminals, and all the trains are associated with those terminals.
Mm-hmm.
What are the?
So I'm covering Brampton Intermodal Yard,
right?
Mac Yard, and then Oshawa.
Okay, so see, you're doing something similar to what they do, like over here or down here. Like Green Bay's extra board covers Manitowoc, but if need be, they can also cover Gladstone and Neenah. Neenah's extra board will cover Manitowoc if Green Bay can't supply a guy, and then they can also go down and help cover Fond du Lac or Stevens Point if they need it. And then just the cycle keeps going. Point is Wisconsin Rapids and Wausau, and then things of that nature. And then out towards the west end, out towards Winona and Arcadia and Minneapolis, the point board covers all of that stuff, I believe. And then Fond du Lac is basically Fond du Lac South. So they could cover almost anything that's needed down there. Waukesha, Burlington, all that stuff.
And they're building a brand new terminal in Milton. Starting this year. So we're excited about that because when they opened, I think, Oakville, so essentially Toronto South used to cover literally all of the South. But then when they opened a third terminal down towards the bottom end of the GTA, Aldershot got to work. So now it became Toronto South became McMillan Yard, Oshawa, and Brampton, and Aldershot covered Aldershot, Hamilton, and Oakville. But now they're opening the new terminal in Milton. We're excited because that's going to mean more work for us, and they're hiring 40 guys behind me in anticipation of that.
Well, that's good news then.
So my cushion just went way up.
Yeah, that's always good when you hear of them hiring guys. That's always good for the seniority security, I guess is a good way.
There's 3 classes here right now that are behind me, and they're hiring even more.
Oh, there's 3 classes there now that are behind you.
Yeah.
Wow.
And they're hiring even more. So my cushion is very, very big, which is really good news for me.
I have a similar situation. I just found out what the 2021 roster is, and I'm actually number 34. So on our roster out of 700 guys. So I have a little bit of a cushion.
I mean, right now, at pretty much every terminal in the GTA except Mackyard, I think, because Mackyard is so junior. I think at every terminal in the GTA, there's at least 20 or 30 guys who are eligible for retirement.
Wow.
We were going over the numbers the other day.
Wow.
Belleville is something like 40.
By we, you mean you and some of the other guys in your class?
Us and our instructors, yeah, are on the job trainers.
Oh yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Wow.
Wow's a good word.
Wow is a very, very good word. It's extremely descriptive.
Yeah.
There's I think the guy that's been on the longest has been with the railway since '72, and he's still working.
Why?
He's been on for like 45 years or something. I have nobody knows.
Why?
Because he wants to be a 40-year guy. That's why.
Or he has like 3 sets of alimony payments.
No, there's usually some reason why.
Maybe he likes working on the railroad. You know what? That would be a great title for a column in a magazine about model railroading. Working on the railroad.
What's that?
Working on the railroad.
It would be.
Wouldn't that be a great title for a column?
I think, only if we knew somebody in a major model railroad publication.
Yeah.
Only, God, come on, guys, think. 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 Like Pooh Bear. Just like Pooh Bear.
Yeah, think like Pooh Bear.
Think. What you doing, Pooh? I'm thinking.
Okay, so it sounds like you're in pretty good. So you're going to work in one of these 3 yards. What do you think you're going to be? So what are your hours like right now? Like right now, you just got basically a regular kind of 9 to 5 gig while you're training.
So right now I'm working from I'm up at 4 in the morning. I'm at the yard at 6:30, which will change mercifully when I move this week. I'll have to get up as early. I'm at the yard at 6:30, and I'm there until about 3.
Okay, that's not bad. That's pretty good. That's a good gig. I love getting up early.
Right.
No. Unless I'm going to do something, I don't ever want to get up early.
So how long will you be doing this for? Like, what happens after this?
So I don't have to protect the board until probably June.
Okay, let's say
I'm still doing my field training until June, but I am a fully qualified conductor.
So what is that slang term, protect the board? What does that mean?
It means I don't get posted to the spare board until June. So until then, I'm working on a nice regular schedule, and I know what my schedule is going to be every week.
Yeah, but we haven't explained to people what protect the board means. Spoon, would you like to take that one?
Yeah, basically what it means is that when you're assigned to an extra board or a spare board assignment, your job is to be kind of like a fireman. It's to be ready for the call, to be to work when the railroad calls, to go. They're going to give you, I'm assuming, a 2-hour call and say, need you at this time on this assignment. And your only response is, okay. And all right, thank you. And you hang up the phone and you go and you start getting yourself ready to get to work. And you show up at the time they told you to show up for work, and you do the job they assigned you to go and do.
That's it.
And that is basically, and then once you're done with that assignment, you go to, like I said earlier, you go to the bottom of the list. And then the only time you're not required to protect the board is when you have assigned rest days, which are your days off, your time off, which whatever days they might be. So those you can go and, it's your free will. And then I'm not sure how the agreement up in Canada is for the conductors, but down here, that once you hit, I believe it's 1800, they can no longer call you on the at 1800 prior to your rest day. They can no longer call you to go to work. You are now off of the board. You no longer protect the board. They cannot call you to go to work. They can call you and ask you if you'll come to work, but if they do, now it's on overtime for the entire tour.
I'll have to look to see what our limitations are. I know when I was up in Hornepayne, my mile limit was 4,300 miles. But now, of course, I'm on a daily rate as opposed to a mile rate. So it's changed. So I haven't had a chance to look yet.
CR agreements are really, really, really different. We
You're
don't
on
have
hourly, right?
Everybody is.
Yeah, see, we're not.
Yeah, we don't have mileage stuff or anything like that. But then we also have. There's some things that we probably have that you guys may or may not have also. So it's like we get held away from home terminal pay. We get all sorts of stuff. You know, it's which our good show friend Luke Lemons cashes in on quite often. So he anytime you're in the hotel over 16 hours, they start paying you. so yeah, he's made a couple of dollars doing that on the job because he works A447, which is ironically the train that derailed down in West Chicago. Yeah, that was the train that derailed down in West Chicago. Luke wasn't on it. He gets off at Fond du Lac, but that was I kind of just happened to think of that. That was ironically.
What, just recently? You mean?
Yeah. What was it? Last weekend or last week at one point? I want to say last Thursday or Friday. Maybe. Well, no, it was later. It must have been last Monday or Tuesday or something like that. Because I know that it blocked the. I might get this wrong. The Cicero sub, the triple track on the UP. It blocked They had that blocked. They didn't tear that up. They just had the train was blocking it. And initial reports is it looks like they basically picked a switch. They had a facing point switch and there was a gap in the switch because of ice or something like that. Had created a gap. So
have we decided what the slang term "protect the board" means? Like, and can we explain it some way that somebody would like? It just means protecting the board means what? You are on the board.
You're on the board, ready for call.
Okay.
Yeah. On the board, ready for call.
I wonder where that term "protect the board" came from.
Probably from the unions or something. You got to protect the board, because that's your job. Is you're on the extra board, and your job is to protect that assignment. Otherwise, they're going to take that assignment away.
Yeah, exactly. So protect the board means you're basically on call. You're available for when they need you. So you're keeping the board active. You're whatever job comes up next, you're ready to go.
You are basically on call, waiting with one foot out the door at all times.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
That's it.
And that will start not probably until you've finished all your training, which is still not until probably sometime in June. All right, man, got a lot of learning to do, eh?
Yeah, buddy. But I mean, I'm enjoying every minute of it.
Yeah, it sounds like you are. It sounds like it's getting better and better all along. You got
to come to Manitowoc and work with me. Let's see how much you like that.
Yeah, he's good. Don't be.
Guaranteed, I still would. I don't think there's anything you could do to bring my mood down at this point.
Yeah, don't be bringing his mood down because he's not in Hornepayne. He's not in Hornepayne.
Honestly, I would love the chance to work with you.
With me?
Me?
Yes.
Oh,
both of you.
Seriously, you don't want to work with me.
You are a fun kid.
Yeah, I know.
No, I would. You know what? It's honest to God. I've had some guys that you'd show up and you'd one of these guys that I'd show up and I'd talk to you for 5 minutes, and because I know you, it'd be one of these things where I'd be a little harder on you, but I'd be like, okay, I know he knows what he's doing. I'd look right at you and say, George, stop being stupid. All right, you know better. You know better than this. Here's
well,
you know what. You know
I
what
would expect as much.
You know what you're supposed to do. Now, let's just go get it done.
So is he screwing up already? Oh my God.
No. But then if he were to ask a question, I'd be like, all right, well, let's walk through this. Let's take a look at what we got going on here. And here's the reasons why you want to do this way as compared to the way you were going to do it. Here's the way we do it all the time, and this is the reason why. I do that all the time. And I mean, new guys need to have their hand held, no matter how much they think they know. They do, because I am a very big proponent that a guy should not be allowed to be on his own in any way, shape, or form until they have at least a year in the field. They should be with other jobs for a year. Doesn't matter what they're doing. I don't care how big the terminal is. It should be a year before they're cut loose, because that's when it takes so many times doing something to understand before it becomes a habit. And so you want the good habits. When you're training, they bounce you around a lot of time from guy to guy to guy to guy to guy. And the way one guy does something, and George, I know you for a fact, you've experienced this. The way one guy does one thing isn't necessarily the way somebody else is going to do it. And the guy,
Absolutely.
and then the guy that trained you to do it the one way, you go to do it that way. The second guy's sitting there going, "Why the hell are you doing it that way? Why are you doing it like that? No, do it like this." And now you've got two different ways to do it in your head. You're confused because you don't know which one is the right way. You don't want to piss off either guy.
We only got we only got an hour and a half here, so.
No, we got all day.
Okay.
I'm just saying. I would love to work
verbatim. Verbatim, I had someone tell me, "Don't do what I do. I'm a bad conductor." I was like, "All right."
And those are guys that you want to learn from the most. Actually, you probably learned more from him by watching what not to do than you ever did anything else.
Yeah, just a bit. Not in a good way.
Well, no.
You got to find out. So you were saying, when you operate this hump train, you push the cars over the hump slow enough that you can pull the pin, because they give you a list like that. These 5 cars are going in this track. These 5 cars are going in that track.
Well, no, I don't. We don't use switch lists in the yard.
Okay.
We don't use switch lists because the thing is, it moves too fast.
All
so
right.
The reality is, your paperwork gets outdated in 5 minutes.
Oh, well, what do you do? Just guess then?
No. So what I do? Yes, it's all up in the air.
It's all by braille.
Yeah.
It's by smell. No. So what I do is I grab the string, and then I will get off or walk or whatever into such a way that I can get up to the hump. And there's a board at the hump that's like a digital board, and it can show up to 4 cars on it, and it'll show you where to, like, if the car needs to have the pin pulled, or if they're going to go together as like a set.
Right.
And it'll show you if the car has any restrictions on it, because there's 3 different hump speeds I can use. There's hump slow, there's hump, and there's hump fast. Mm-hmm. But hump slow is for stuff like cars that are special dangerous, like commodities and stuff like that. So like hazardous goods and all that kind of stuff, you have to hump them slower than maybe like just a box car or a center beam or something like that.
So and each one of those different speeds that sets the retarder on the hump. It doesn't nothing to do with the retarders. It's how fast the locomotive moves. Oh, gotcha.
This is all on the belt pack.
Yeah, don't get too fast now. Not everybody knows what you're talking about. So first off, you know what? Tell me, Mike, if I have to edit this part out. Okay, this is what I've said with this next statement. Tell me if I have to edit it out.
Okay.
First time I see it, George, I'm going to slap you.
Nope, you can keep that in there.
Okay.
Well, you've already seen me once.
Well, I said the next time. All right, the next time.
Oh, sorry, I said first. I thought I said first time.
Well, that's a reason why I'm going to slap you, because you okay, I should have said I apologize. I should have said the next time. Now I'm going to have to slap you twice.
George, have you and I met?
No.
Okay, well, the first time you and I meet, I suggest you wear a cup.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
So, okay, there's not a paper switch list, but there is some way to identify to you which cars go where. There's a digital board where you're standing.
But I have nothing to do with where they go. That's all up to the tower. Well, I just put them over the hill.
I understand that, but how do you know where to? What I was trying to get at is which cars do you know to cut? Because the question I was trying to lead to was, do you stop the train to pull the pin?
No. The whole idea is that the train keeps rolling, and that's how the cars get the momentum to go over the hill to run down the to the retarders.
So can you help me here, Mike?
Sure.
I remember back, I think, in our first George's Journal, number 1, way back. I think one of the things he told me, one of the first things he learned in conductor school, was that the train must always be stopped. Oh, that was getting on and off. They let you walk between the moving cars to pull the pin?
Well, you don't have to walk.
No, because the operating lever's on the outside. So you just reach it as you go along.
Okay. All right. That's good. All right.
The thing I'm confused about, and George, this is what confuses me, is that if your hump board only shows 4 cars, what happens when you have a block of 5 or more?
We don't. We just don't. The maximum block we hump is 4. That's the bottom line.
Oh, you're only allowed to hump. Even if you had 8 cars and they're all in one block, you got to let them go in 2 separate groups.
Yep. It's 2 sets of 4.
Well, that's not very convenient, is it?
No.
Well, I suppose it's easier to control 4 than
It's
it
a
would
lot of
be
weight,
to
though,
control.
right?
That's a lot of weight. 8. You're looking at probably close to 1,000 ton.
Like if you think we're humping a bunch of grain cars that are absolutely loaded to the top, right? That's a lot of it's a lot of weight for the retarders to handle.
Right. Yeah, and I suppose that makes sense. And then what do you do if you have a train or if you have a car that is placarded that says "Do not hump"? How do you handle that if it's in the middle of your cut, or is that switched out of the hump cut prior to it going over the hill?
I'd have to set it out before we hump the string.
And you know that ahead of time, though.
Yeah.
Okay.
So let's tell people what retarders are, because a lot of people won't know what retarders are.
Yes. It is not meant to be derogatory. Retarders are essentially devices along the track in the hump yard with shoes on them that will grab the wheels as they roll by to slow the car down.
So it goes over this hump, and it's pretty steep too, isn't it? It's reasonably steep.
It's surprisingly steep.
It's like 3%. Every bit of that.
Yeah.
2 or 3%, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then the retarders basically, as they, depending on how far into the yard that car needs to go, the retarders are set to allow that car to make it to the joint and make it through the switches at a safe speed without stalling. And so, sometimes they're set a little harder, sometimes they're a little lighter.
Yeah.
Do you guys? It's actually quite interesting to watch hump operations, because about the time that you think that something is going to take off on you, it slows right down.
Yep.
And then it gets through that one retarder, and then it speeds up to the next one, and then that one is set, and it allows it to get into the track. And once it gets past all the retarders, it's set at it should be at a speed that it's going to allow it to go into the track and make a safe coupling.
That's right.
Now, do you guys use skates?
We do not.
Do you know what a skate is?
Yes, we don't use skates.
You do not use skates. Okay, skate. Before Lionel asks, because I know this is coming, a skate is something that some hump yards use in lieu of like a handbrake to a degree, where they put it. It's almost they put it underneath the wheel of the trailing most wheel or the furthest wheel. They put it on top of the rail, and basically the wheel pushes against it, and it acts as a brake, so that the car doesn't continue to push out of the track.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a poor man's handbrake is basically what it is. Like using a wedge.
Yeah. Both the hump yards are bold, so it's no handbrake territory.
Okay. Yeah. So.
No, we have to. This is all.
See, I'm learning.
Yeah, you're learning. We're all learning, and we're having a grand. This is quite an exciting. I was right, George. We're into George's. What did you call it? We were going to talking cutlery, or because it's
conversations with cutlery.
Yeah, because it's spoon and teaspoon.
Oh, jeez.
It's conversations with cutlery. So
yeah, I'm happy for you, man. It sounds like you're having a good time. Just like I said, keep your head on a swivel and just keep doing what you're doing. That's it.
That's it.
So you said there was lots of exciting stuff to tell me. Is that it, or is there something else you wanted to tell the fans out there? Or do you feel like we pretty much covered the last week, or what's happened in the last?
I think we covered it. I mean, I was only there for 3 days.
Yeah.
So there'll be lots more to talk about after this week, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. So whereabouts do you go in? Do you go in off of Keel Street, or do you go in off of Highway 7? Whereabouts do you go in?
Right now, I'm going in off of Keel, because I park at the main administration building, and I start my day at South Control.
Okay, in the administration building, there's a bunkhouse in the administration building, isn't there? There used to be.
That's right.
Yeah,
it still is. It's very state of the art. They've upgraded it a lot.
I know.
You can walk inside; it's really nice.
I stayed in there a few nights myself, because back then, in the mid '70s, it was like pretty much come on in. They had a great cafeteria and stuff like that. So
yeah, it's really nice.
So you drive across Highway 7 over highway. You get off at probably Weston Road or something like that, or do you get off?
I get off the 407 at Keel.
Okay. Well, when you cross Highway 7.
Yep.
Do you know what used to be there?
What, right at Highway 7 in Kiel?
Yeah, just a little bit west of Kiel Street and Highway 7.
Okay.
Dairy Queen.
No.
Oh.
Pinecrest Speedway.
Really?
Pinecrest Speedway was there, and it was a 1/4-mile track, and it was one of the most popular places you could possibly go when I was a young fella, and it stayed there until about 1980 and 83, and they tore it down. And
Like in between the yard and Kiel Street, or like on the other side?
on the south side of Highway 7.
Okay.
And I used to race there.
Wow.
Look at that. You see that on the screen? See that picture? Look at that.
Wow. That's not you, is it?
Yeah, it's me.
That's funny.
It's
That's pretty awesome. Is that a Corvair?
It's a Falcon. It's a 62.
Oh, Falcon. Okay, sorry.
It's a 64 Falcon with a Chevrolet motor in it.
And no fenders.
Well, it was a stock car.
Yes.
It doesn't look like there's very much stock about that stock car.
Well, I think the doors were stock. The roof and the fenders are stock, and the trunk lid and the hood. I mean, it was this. It was not. It,
I'm like looking at the. Oh, how's a good way of putting it? The modification to the wheel wells you guys did to that car. That thing is what. First of all, I'd like to know who did the front one and who did the back one, and how many beers were being drank while you guys were doing it, because there is absolutely nothing symmetrical about anything that's in that on those wheels. Holy cow! That's like the first thing that my eye got drawn to is like I'm like looking at these. I'm like, there is something inherently wrong with that. Like, how did you not cut down a tire on that front wheel well?
There's duct tape all the way around there. Can't you see it?
Oh, well, that makes a difference in everything, I guess.
Yeah, that's Hoosier.
That's pretty cool. That's very, very cool.
Hoosier tires. Yeah, so that's so there was a speedway there right at Kiel and Highway 7, and you're passing hallowed ground in my life, buddy. Holy mackerel.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
You are covering a lot of ground that I've already covered many, many years prior. What a cool thing to be doing. I think, have we covered everything, Spoon?
Probably pretty close.
Yeah, we don't want to beat it to death because we're going to do this again.
Yeah, I'm sure he's going to have war stories coming out of his wazoo here.
Yeah, and if you don't like the job, don't go complaining to somebody about it.
Just go get Just go find someplace else in the yard to go work.
Yeah.
Go find a rock.
Yeah, don't be asking for any more favors for a while.
Yeah, I think that boat's sailed.
Yeah, ixnay on the favor, Ace.
Yeah, exactly.
My goal is to lay low for a while.
Yeah, I would do that. Yeah.
Hey, you know what? That is some good thinking there, Sunshine.
I bet your mother-in-law is happy.
Oh, yes.
Because now you're in Southern Ontario or you're in civilization. So now all you do is get yourself. So how long do you figure it'll be till you can get your wife and son over there to live with you?
A couple months. Won't be that long.
No, exactly.
No.
You just find, you go north to Bradford or something. You might find a nice apartment or something up there.
Yeah, we're looking more to the east. They want to be as close as humanly possible, but can't really blame them.
It's close to what, Ottawa?
Yeah.
I would take umbrage with that. I mean, they don't listen to this podcast, but David Start would tell you that I'm a fairly opinionated person. Although I'm sure everybody would.
I've never known you to ever have an opinion one way or the other on anything.
I would think that your mother-in-law and that side of the family should just be thankful that they don't have to drive 14 hours to Hornepayne. So if they got to drive an extra hour or an extra half hour to get to the other side of Toronto, ixnay on the complaining,
I've said so. I've said as much, but anyway, that's another whole bag of worms.
Okay. So that was cool. It was episode number 5 with George's Journal. Maybe we'll paste a little something at the beginning of this. I talked to Chris Adams today for half an hour, so maybe we'll stick that on the front of this. So we have, hey, George, you want to give out the email address?
Sure. Our email address, if you'd like to reach us by the medium of email, is modelerslife@gmail.com. That's modeler with 1 L, like Hamilton, and not 2 L's. Like,
Mac-
that's a good one.
Macmillan Yard.
Macmillan Yard. There you go. Yeah.
Macmillan might work. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Jeez, I had a good one all set too. Just so you know, Lionel, I was prepared.
I figured you were. I blew that.
Okay.
I should have gone with you.
Wow. Appreciate the vote of confidence.
You know what, Spoon? Is this not a true statement for you and me together? Because you and I would work well together. Is this not a true statement for us? It's hard to soar like an eagle when you're surrounded by turkeys.
Yeah, turkeys can fly. Just not very well.
I prefer turkey vulture. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, you could have just nodded your head there. You didn't have to just, I got it. I know that turkeys and gophers can run, but I wouldn't really hook them up to my wagon either. You know.
Jeez, you're complaining about me.
What was that, George?
And you're complaining about me.
That's true. Excellent point. Excellent point.
Thing is, he's used to me. He knows to keep the bar on the ground, and that's it. He hasn't done that with you yet, George. Okay. You have a little bit of time to go yet. You've got a little ways to go. He's still got some expectations and some hope for you yet.
Yeah. We haven't given up on you yet.
There's some false hopes in there somewhere.
Yeah, there's no hope for me whatsoever.
Or me. Yeah.
Good Lord. Hey, did you know that there's still a pine crest? There's still a pine crest right there, right by Highway 7. By the Seven View Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram dealer is
Pinecrest. This is a Pinecrest.
It looks like a Pinecrest something. It looks like a motel. Pinecrest Motel.
It was is that still there? Holy man!
It is on Google Maps. Yeah, it shows it right there, right at the entrance, right off of Highway 7,
so
just after Costa Road.
I was going to use the picture of 7600 for the cover photo of this. I think I'll stick with that, but. This is the very first race I ever won, right there.
Let's see.
Anyway, so I'll close that up because
this one right here, the one with the great cut job on the wheel wells.
Yeah, that's a car.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a car. It was the first race I ever won.
That's cool.
It is. We have a website, modelerslife.com. If you go there, you can see all kinds of stuff about the website, about the podcasts. Anything you need to know is right there, pretty much. And if you want some hats, shirts, hoodies, mugs, anything you could possibly need to spread the word of the AML network around the world, you can go to Midwest Model Railroad, and their URL is midwestmodelrr.com. You know, somebody today was complaining that they thought they were buying the stuff the cheapest they could from NB Klein, and I said no. You got to go to Midwest Model Railroad. That's the place to go. And they ship stuff out. They ship stuff out so fast. And if you
it makes your head spin how fast it comes out. You don't even have the enter button hit, and they've got the stuff's on its way already.
That's right. They know what you're going to order.
Yep.
Stephen Atwell there, he has it right in his head, and he just knows what you're going to order.
They're all psycho. I mean, ick. Ick.
And every Midwest package comes with an AML sticker on it.
Yep.
What else?
Well, that's just professional.
It is very professional. What else do we got to tell them? Oh yeah, and there's like over 11,000 items on the Midwest Model Railroad website. If you need it, they can get it. And if they can't get it, you don't need it.
Yeah. Or it doesn't exist.
Or it doesn't exist. I think that's everything, isn't it? We did.
I think so.
We talked about, we did the email address. We talked about the website.
I botched the email.
Yeah, well. What else what am I missing? Am I missing something? I don't know.
Millboy's face? I don't know.
I don't know.
You did the Facebook, right?
Yeah, we done it all.
We did the email. We did the email, the Facebook, the
website.
The website, Midwest Model Railroad.
Oh, yeah, I know what I wanted to tell you. If you want to get some detail parts, please, I'm begging you. I'm beseeching you. I'm on the ground. I'm on my knees. I'm begging you. Do not buy them from JL Innovations and Chris Costello. Just don't. Whatever you do, don't buy any detail parts from JL Innovations and Chris Costello and his brother Michael. I'm begging you. Just keep on moving past that website.
Okay.
They recently, Chris Costello and his brother Michael, about a year ago, they bought JL Innovations, and they are doing so well running that company, and they're getting so many orders. They're buried alive in orders. So I said, well, you know what I'll do? I'll just on the podcast, I'll start telling people don't order from you.
Yeah, don't order them.
Yeah, don't order from them. Yeah, we're begging you, please. We're begging you. However, if you do want to get some really cool detail parts, that's the place to go. Is JL Innovations.
Yeah.
They do have really cool stuff. That's it. All right, George, are you ready? You know what?
I'm ready.
No, you know what? You screwed up the email, so I'm afraid I got to hand this one off to the old vet.
Oh, that's a gut punch.
Yeah, even though he's well past middle age, I got to hand it off to the old vet.
Like I said, wear a cup.
You know what? Wear a helmet.
No,
I do all the time.
No, George, you don't have a comeback.
No, you got no comeback.
You got no
I
comeback.
got a baseball bat.
No, you just got to stand there and take it.
Yeah, you just.
That's what it is. Being a young guy, you just got to take the beating and be glad that we're doing it.
And don't come near me if I've got a spatula in my hand.
Yeah,
I hate to say it, but I don't operate that way.
That's not.
I'm on the new rule book, baby.
Yeah. And don't come near me if I have a wet noodle.
So that is a damn sure, like, ironclad statement right there.
The young sassy one there. The young sassy one there. Spoon is telling he likes being your sidekick and being teaspooning, but he's like telling us how it's going to be.
Yeah, I know. I've dealt with his kind before.
Are you ready?
Oh, sure.
So remember, remember, a Modeler's Life podcast is considered marginally adequate by 6 out of 10
whiny new conductors.
Wow. I wasn't whining about anything, but all right.
I never said you.
Oh, okay.
You weren't whining about anything. You barely got to your new job, and you said, I don't like it.
This is why we love you, George.